crime busters or a gun-wielding unit of rogue police with a license to kill? For 2 weeks, we focus on the controversial elite National Intervention Unit after 4 alleged would-be robbers succumbed to a hail of bullets at a house in Rockville, Soweto.
The way bayenza khona hayi ngisifile kahle asifila phethe. Into la yenzo indaba labantu abatholanga abaphethe iphama bazange badubulana nabo. Una amaphoyisa adubulile akuyiwo ayi-1.
Despite the police investigators' claim that there were no witnesses, we find people who say they saw the killings and contradict the police's version that the deceased died in a shootout following a foiled cash-in-transit heist. A 12-year-old child is also left with permanent life-threatening injuries.
Mfuna, like somebody abe accountable. I don't care, whatever it is, somebody has to take the blame.
Rockville, Soweto, became the scene of questionable deaths on the afternoon of the 7th of January this year. Jonathan Frank Mkhize, also known as Adida, succumbed to a hail of bullets along with 3 of his alleged accomplices.
Adida newo Jonathan Madoda Mkhize. Mfowethu ongamayena. Adida ngendlela bezithanda ngayo, ethanda impahla ngayo, bethanda impahla ezinhle ezamagama. Ubehamba yolebaya ngikhumbula ngelinye ilanga nginaye society athe mntana sekhaya ngilebaye isicathulo se7,000 ngithi awusemuhle nje yo azini kulamalanga uyababa nje la society every Wednesday uqhamuka ngeJewish nje. Adida azange akhula sebenza, ukhule ephanda ngenxa yezimo ebezikhona ekhaya. Ube ngene ephuma ejele, engene ephuma. The last time ephuma ejele kwaku-2011. Njengoba bekasejele ubegwetshwele i-attempted robbery, attempted murder. Ubegwetshwe uhlale isikhathi esingange 10 to 11 years. Waphuma, wabuya ekhaya. Sahlala naye. Aqeda ukuhlala naye after a month kwashona umama, sasala sesibathathu, mina naye no Floyd umfowethu. So ube ubaba kithina, ube ubhuti. Kodwa esikhathini esiningi ube engasakho involved kuma criminal activities because unendlu ePhilville, ubephila ngerent yakhona. Ubekhona ukuthi ondle ingane zakhe ngayo ahambe nama society.
Despite Adida's younger sister saying that he was no longer involved in crime, his longtime friend says, due to unemployment, both men had been involved in crime to survive. He says he has since found legitimate work, but his friend hadn't.
Questions now. The previous day, on a Tuesday, ngasemkhuza. Time bandota awuphume ubantu esingabazi sikana ukubabona labantu phuma banobungozi abantu abangaziwa uhamba nabantu la awubazi ukuthi uyicharacter enjani yomuntu. Unfortunately he decided ngenhliziyo yakhe ukuthi ufuna whatever le mali ayifunayo.
According to the statement released by the police on the same day the 4 men were killed, the event started at about 2:30 p.m. in Bramfisher, 10 kilometers from Rockville, where they eventually died. The statement says that a team of members from crime intelligence and the NIU responded to a tip-off and foiled a planned attack on a cash van. It says the team noticed 2 suspicious vehicles following the cash-in-transit van into this filling station, where security officials were to collect money from the ATMs. It further says Upon noticing the SABC members, the two vehicles with a group of armed robbers made an about turn, resulting in a high-speed chase, and the police followed them to an address where a shootout ensued. The police's version is disputed by witnesses who saw what happened.
Mangingena ngithi ngizongena ngipake ejardini. Ngiyabona ukuthi no, umfowethu ukhona ejardini, khona imoto epakile la ngasegeyidini and then khona nenye esibili bepake phambili zibheke phezulu zibabonakala ukuthi zingene azange zangena ngereverse bezingene nje zibheke phezulu zangena zapaka and kade bephumile emotweni bemile ngaphandle bexoxa begcwele nezingane estubhini ezinye ingane ezingabomakhelwane ezinabo 3, 4, 5 years. Then ngabona ukuthi no akungeneki mhlambe ngathi hayi ithi ngime next door mhlambe azophuma manje. Ngibone imoto ezi2 ziza from the opposite direction ziza in a high speed. Maziza ngithi awule imoto lezi aspeeda kangaka kule street ene sinabantwana labayadlala nasestradeni. Ngaze ngaba relieved ngathi at least abantwana basengeni basejardini you understand aba safe. Zize maziza ngespeedini ngina high speed ngizibhekile mangithi phambili GTI e-white bese ilandelwa iBMW e-white ziza zispeedile la ngisathi ngizobheka ewindweni ukuthi abobani bona laba ama window athinted angiboni lutho zidlule lapha phambi kwami ngisathi ngizovula umnyango ngibona ukuthi ziphelelaphi angingakavuli nomnyango ngizwe emva kwami sekhalipa ngithathe isandla sami ngibheka ukuthi angidubuleka ngala ekhanda ngithola ukuthi anginalutho then I switch off the engine of the car ngayicima imoto ngabheka ngiyezwa ukuthi hey kuyakhulunywa hey ima mangibheka ku side mirror yami yaka right ngibona kuza amaphoyisa ayi2 eza egijima elendodana lomfazi beza bephatha ama rifle beza begijima beza hey obalekani othabelanga uyakayi wayithaba walingalisa phansi.
Sibongile says she was instructed to get out of her car and lie down on the ground with guns pointed at her. She says more shots were fired inside the yard. This man alleges that the police fired the first shots as the car's occupants tried to escape.
Before kuzofika imoto ezamaphoyisa kufike le moto lezi Mercedes noNdai sangena la ejardini kavalwa ijaridi kavalwa igate baqeda uvalwa igate labantu laba bangena labangani bakhe bayenza umhlangano lana umhlangano wabo uqedanga nabo 5 minutes after 5 minutes amaphoyisa afika amaphoyisa afika ukudubula inhlava zokuqala zikhale ngale ngaphandle nasegeyidini bangena uthi ungena kwabo labantu labo badilika abagijima bayale bashona le toilet lena oyi1 ngokubotheshi ngathi lana angisana choice uvela la phansi lo oyi1 afika nyathela lo ekhanda athi ngumtholile oyi1 na ngale bundini ngale bhunu oyi1 olele labantu abayithuba kuseMercedes Benz babakhipha babalalisa isitubhini naloyo ngale baya bamthatha babuya naye bamulalisa ngaplana esitubhini abomela babulasela esitubhini mina bangishiya ngale ngihleli phansi baphinda babuya futhi bazobasukumisa la abo basukumisa bazobalalisa nami ngale bathi mina silale ke sifo salala bathi laba idrimela basukume lapha bazongena emotweni bazongena kule moto le Mercedes emhlophe lo munye umudenyana wathi kumele ngene ngale kwi-steering lo mfowa lana wathi kumele angene ngapha phambili ku-left nomunye loyana bathi angene ngale back seat mina bathi ngiyohlala le ngiye ngale emuva kwendlu ngifike ngahlala lapha ngibona yonke into eyenzeka ngapha phambili uthi wena ngithi start imoto manje yabona kanti lo ngapha uyakhuluma nalo ngapha uyakhuluma manje nalabantu labayana abathi bangene emothweni abona abasazithumile balalele bani bathi ngithi ngene emotweni manje lapho ukhala kuma lana buwana ukuthi uzokhuluma uthini uzokhuluma uthini ukhala kuma phela yabona ya ngene emotweni wona ya manje lo kuthi angena akathi uyahlala lapha esitulweni akasabamsamphanga chance alivele ladonsa lephoyisa adubula lamuthulethe shayela lapha phambili ku-screen saphambili after ukuthi babadubule bafe bagcine bavula ibhuthi ukuvula kwabo ibhuthi bathola ibheke elimnyama le bheke lelimnyama belineyibhamu bagcina bathatha le bhamu leziyana labantu sebafile babaplanta bonke umunye nomunye ebhekane isibhamu sakhe but phela abantu bebangaphathanga ibhamu bebengananix babathole bangacabanganga nix.
Today, Pistau, Adida Mkize's neighbor, says he's still shocked by what he saw on the day the police arrived at his neighbor's house. He says he observed when members of the Police National Intervention Unit opened gunfire at the men whom he says were unarmed and were shot at point-blank range. He says he was walking in his garden when the police arrived.
Ntwemo festeremo then ganga several shots ya di photo ke bona ntho e tsagalang ka mo next door so ntho ke bone batho ba ifo ba robaditswe mo fatshe mo le mo ditalsing mo then after several minutes ke ge ba bolela gore ba kene mo dikoloing tse ne di le mo jarte ne le Hyundai e le Mercedes Benz o white so tre ba ikentse mo Mercedes no white o one ba mo kenya ko Hyundai ne le ko morago then after mo kwatla one ya mapodisa ya imamo pele ya imamo Mercedes ke mo ithunyang then le nna ke tshoga ke kwala window ke nagana gore ke a boniwa mara ke bone gore ba motho o ba thuntse straight sets ba ba kentse mo koloing then go ele engwe ele ne shebile kwa ba mo dulitse mo left hand side so ba butsile batia ba mo thunya this way ba mo shebile ka le side ba ithunya straight go windscreen jaka ko Mercedes.
During the shooting, a 12-year-old child was injured.
Angeke ngikhohlanga la khona 7th of January. Abantwana bezongibiza bethi umzukulwana wami ulimele. Use eRockville. Mangifika eRockville ngathola lokho omunye ugogo sekemthathe wamfaka ejardini lakhe ambeke umcamelo amembathisile and then logogo wathi kithi faneke nimhambise ngemoto ngoba ninemoto because kudala beli iambulance beyibizile ekafiki bekunama complications iliver nekidney ibe affected and the pelvic yakhe was fractured so they had to do emergency operation. The time abuya esibhedlela first week ebengalali sometimes umthole ahambe endlini ngimbuza ukuthi kwenzakalani athi uyapainelwa then ngimnikeze amapilisi wamapain alale.
She says the police blamed her for her child being injured.
This thing ukuthi uthola umntana wakho alele alimele iphoyisa likutshela ukuthi why ningagada abantwana. I mean really why ningagada abantwana umntana ulele lapha phansi ulimele why ningagada abantwana. It means manje abantwana kumelanga abadlali fanele sihlale sibagadile ngoba naka amaphoyisa azobe dubulana nabotsotsi. Mfuna like somebody abe accountable. I don't care whatever it is, somebody has to take the blame because umntana maksutsotsi is just a 12-year-old boy. He didn't deserve that.
On the 15th of January this year, family and friends bid their last farewells to Adida Mkhize, who was killed along with 3 men, apparently Zimbabwean nationals, after an alleged foiled cash-in-transit robbery. The strong presence of police pervades the atmosphere, as though the police are expecting a retaliation.
The tragic circumstances ezenzeke lana during last week azithandeni abantwana bethu singabayekeli njengesiyabona babulawa yilento zenyawo irrespective ukuthi indlela zethu zokuhamba but le asindlela ejabulisayo yemfundo siproduct embi asali but yilegacy yabantu.
According to official government communications, the National Intervention Unit was formed to deal with serious and violent crimes like cash-in-transit heists and gang violence, among others.
Establishment of these units is often very important because you need to have a capable state, and the state needs to have the capacity and the capability to protect its citizens. So this is a direct response to particular threats.
The NIU has been celebrated for its fights against crime. Last year's police statistics show a decline in cash-in-transit heists. The unit is credited with its involvement in countrywide drug busts, the capture of armed robbers and gang members. Recently, they arrested Cape Town's alleged underworld boss, Nafiz Modak. The unit has also had its fair share of bad publicity, including allegations that they, amongst others, were responsible for the deaths of 34 miners at Scene 2 during the Marikana protests. Also, late last year, a Durban family accused the unit of lying in its report that they were caught in the crossfire when they were allegedly directly shot at by the unit while they were in the car, causing one member a leg amputation and multiple gunshot wounds to other members of the family. After speaking to witnesses of the Soweto killings, key questions arise about the alleged behavior of the police. Why they allegedly lied that the 4 men were killed after a car chase and a shootout. Why the suspects were shot and killed when witnesses say they had already been apprehended. Why guns were allegedly placed on the deceased after they were shot. Why they didn't arrest the suspects. Why the IPID investigators say there were no witnesses when a number of people confirmed witnessing the incident. In our presence, Adida's wife called the IPID investigator, who said he is waiting for ballistic results to determine whether the suspects were shooting at the police. She attempted to open a case against the police.
I explained to him, no, I actually want to make a case. My husband got killed on the 7th of January. And he said to me, no, I was there. I was there. I thought you bringing me information about these guys that do crime here in South Africa.
She says, besides mourning her husband's death, her family has to deal with the alleged misrepresentation of the facts by the police.
On the police report, he just wrote the deceased and friends were shooting at the police and they shot back. That was on the police report. So the insurance company declined my claim. I just want the police to take accountability for my husband's death. I think justice must prevail. I'll go to the last end to find justice for my husband. Because I feel they were shot not having any guns on them. They were laid twice in the yard. And I just feel that justice will prevail.
Adida lived on the opposite side of the requirements of the law, but in the country subject to the rule of law, are the police justified in suspending the law when dealing with criminals? And what are the rights of the ordinary people caught in the crossfire? Next week, a family's life in Durban is turned upside down. The police and IPID respond in our ongoing investigation into the National Intervention Unit.